stadium using 800 million shillings. What I wanted the CS to tell this House is, was that money budgeted for? And if yes, which year was it budgeted for? Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Julius Mvurya.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I would like to know from the Minister as to what plans are there for West Pokot, because we do not have a Talanta Center nor stadium that people are talking about. So what plans are there for young people or youth in West Pokot?
Senator Mazayo.
Asante mstahiki Spika. Nataka kumuuliza mjomba wangu pale.
Senator Mazayo.
Yes. Pole, nataka kuuliza
waziri wa serikali.
Waziri wa serikali. Nataka kumuuliza je, kuna mpangilio gani ambao ama mikakati gani ambao serikali imeweza kuiweka katika hali ya kabambe kuona kwamba Kilifi nayo pia imepata stadium kama vile Kwale imepata stadium katika maeneo ya Kilifi, Malindi, Mtwapa, manake hizo ni town zile kubwa kubwa, na sasa tunaona kwamba Kwale ikiwa imepata na Kilifi ilikuwa mbele kidogo kwa mambo ya kandanda na kila kitu. Tukiangalia vile vile tunaona kwamba Kitui ilijengwa na wiki mbili, sijui wiki mbili ama miezi miwili. Niko na seneta wa Kitui hapa, ilijengwa na wiki mbili ile stadium. Ni lini Kilifi nayo itaweza kupata stadium ama viwanja vya kuchukua talanta za watoto, kuona kwamba Kilifi county katika maeneo ya Malindi vile vile Kilifi na Mtwapa pia nao wamefaidika na wewe mjomba kuwa pale. Asante sana, Speaker.
Senator Sigei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to first appreciate the Honorable CS for the report that is given, especially in the data per county representation, though Senator Mongatana has complained. I am not complaining. However, I've got a very special case, Honorable CS, which I want to ask what action you have. In last year's East Africa competition, they've got a young girl, a grade 8 student from Bomet County. Her name is Sheila Chelangat from Sotik Sub-County. She performed exemplary well and won in the East African competition in high jump, surpassing the national height attained of 1.59, sorry. She actually did 1.62. She surpassed the national height. As at now, this girl hasn't been taken into any training institution. That is a matter of fact I'm aware of. And Honorable CS, what plans would you have for such exemplary, young, talented Kenyans to take such persons to the next level? I'm asking this because, Honorable CS, you are aware of Bomet County, we do not have any stadium. There are 2 presidential directives against 2 available stadiums, Bomet IAAF Stadium and Sotik. I'm happy I've seen the CEO of Sports Kenya, my good friend Kilimo, in the house. He definitely could be having an answer to that. What plans do you have for this girl as well as for the 2 stadiums, Bomet IAAF as well as Sotik Talanta, Sotik Sports Club? Thank you very much, sir.
Senator Eddie Okech.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. you, CS, for showing up. My question is specific to your coordination with the Ministry for Housing and Public Works, especially in areas that have been earmarked for upgrading of modern markets as well as ESP markets in areas that were previously being used in those townships for sporting facilities in those communities. Is there an agreement between you and the relevant ministry on relocation of playgrounds for kids in those places? A case in example is in Sori Market in Nyatike, where there has been an earmarked space for building a modern market, and in that specific place, there is also a field that that community uses. The place that have been earmarked for modern market building is where the community is using for sports in Sori. So is there an agreement specifically for Sori for being able to relocate that land and build a stadium for them somewhere else? Or is it that once the market is built, then the field is lost? And is that also dissimilar to other places where ESP market are built across the country? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kinyu.
Asante Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii. Langu swali ni kwa waziri kumuuliza Nyahururu, ambapo iko katika nyanda za juu ama maeneo yaliyo juu, ambapo ni mahali pazuri sana kwa mazoezi, kwa sababu mazoezi ya hawa wanariadha wamekuwa wakija kufanyia mazoezi na mafunzo yao pale. Swali langu ni hili: ni mfumo upi ambao wanaotumia kujenga stadium ama uga, hasa wale ambao wanariadha? Kwa sababu Nyahururu kwa miaka sasa na mikaka imekuwa ikitumiwa kama mahali ambapo kuna mazoezi. Kwa nini hamna uga wa michezo wa wanariadha pale Nyahururu? Asante Bwana Spika.
Senator Enoch Wambua.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question stems from the training of athletes and sports technical personnel by the Kenya Academy of Sports. According to the response by the Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Speaker, I see serious disparities in the identification and training of these personnel. And I'll just give an example, Mr. Speaker. In 2023, Kakamega got 330 slots. In 2024, that county got 220 slots. In 2025, they got 233 slots. Mr. Speaker, in the same years in Kitui, we got 38 slots in 2023. In 2024, 0. In 2025, 58. Mr. Speaker, can the CS tell us what has informed the decisions on which personnel from which county to be trained by the Kenya Academy of Sports, and why the huge disparities in the training opportunities? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Wamatinga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me an opportunity to ask a question to the Honorable CS. My question, Bona CS, we have federation football and we have local clubs that have organized themselves using their own dynamics to participate in regional leagues, some of them even over regional county leagues. There is a requirement that they have to pay a certain amount of money that leaves us, as the readers, to pay for them. Does your ministry intend to support these young clubs alongside the Hustler Fund, something like that, so that they do not burden the local readership or they do not fall out because they are required to pay 25,000? Thank you.
Senator Cherange.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to ask the following questions about the stadia, knowing that Nandi and North Rift is source of champions. I want the Minister, Governor Mvurya, to clarify on the following stadia. What is the status, because it has slowed down, of Kamarin Stadium in Elgeyo Marakwet County, 64 Stadium in Uasin County, Kipchoge Keino Stadium in Kapsabet, and the repair on Kibrugut Chuma Stadium in Kericho County, because all works are either slow or they have stalled. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
Honorable CS, you may now respond.
Thank you very much, members of the Senate. We have quite a number of issues that have been raised on the floor. I will respond, Honorable Speaker, to all of them very briefly, and where details are required, I will also identify. The first question on the system to identify talents and communication that has been raised by Honorable Siengo. First of all, Honorable Speaker and members, let me emphasize the fact that the Kenya Academy of Sports does not work in isolation. The Kenya Academy of Sports works in conjunction with other institutions. And in this matter of talent identification, the Kenya Academy of Sports works with schools and also school associations. So the list we have provided for the athletes, these are school-based that are identified through the school competitions, and the numbers will not be the same. However, we have done an affirmative action. After this identification, we also do camps. And for some of the counties that are low in the numbers, we are also doing an affirmative action from April, from this holiday, which is coming up. We have a process that will also be able to identify and train the talented athletes and also personnel who are identified through the school system from April. So some of the areas where we are very low, we are doing an affirmative action in April. We have actually identified this as one of the challenges that we need to bring on board all other counties, that are very low in talent uptake. And this might also be because of the history of talent development, where most of the counties previously did not have the requisite infrastructure. So we are addressing some of these issues through affirmative action. And from April this year, we'll be able to do other activities to make sure that we pick more from the counties that are rating very low. Question number 2 about Africa Cup of Nations. Honorable Speaker and members, I want to say that Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania last year hosted a very successful Pamoja Chan, which brought a lot of excitement to our country. And next year, 2027, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania will still host the Africa Cup of Nations. And I also want to assure you and the country that as a ministry, we are also working very closely to ensure that we meet our financial and infrastructural compliance obligations.
Proceed, Waziri. Proceed. You can hear the CS. Proceed, Honorable Waziri.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. So on matters of Africa Cup of Nations, just to be very clear, is that the facilities that will be used for this tournament are Talanta International Stadium, which is Raila Odinga International Stadium, which is on course, it's almost complete, and also Kasarani. Nyayo will be a training ground, as well as Ulinzi, Police Sacco, and the training grounds around Kasarani. So I want to assure you that in terms of infrastructure, we will make sure that we meet the compliance obligations. We have already invited CAF. We invited CAF. They were here in February to make an assessment, and all the issues that they have identified, we will be able to address. On the matters of hosting fee, Kenya is supposed to pay 3.9 billion. We are already working with the National Treasury and the requisite committee in Parliament to make sure that we comply with the financial obligations. So I want to assure Kenyans and this House that the government is working round the clock to make sure that we meet our obligations. On the matters of water stadium, I know I was here, Mr. Speaker, and I assured members that in water we will be able to do a completely greenfield new stadium, 15,000. The update now is that the governor and the county government have identified a new site, which has now been assessed by Sports Kenya, and now we are working on the other technical aspects before we make the advertisement. The original site of 5,000 is ongoing. We have paid the certificate so that the contractor can complete the usability of this original stadium. Number 4, the question from the Honorable Senator from Embu. Honorable Speaker, I want to update this House that in Embu there exists already a stadium. However, we have gone ahead to do the changing rooms, which we have now completed. And I know also we have a request for Njukiri, which we are also working on. Question number 5 on matters of financing the Olympics. I want to assure this House that last year we were able to support the Olympics to travel to Tokyo, and we are happy that they won, they got medals, and right now what is pending is to transfer 56 million to those who were able to win. On matters Tonglomudo, Tonglomudo has been allowed to participate in any competition previously since 2022, but we successfully negotiated with the International Federation, and last year, December, we were able to finance the Federation to carry out the martial arts competition, which was done in Mombasa, and it was fully financed by the ministry. I'm aware that there are also issues that this federation has raised, which we are dealing with the leadership. However, I want to assure this House that for all federations representing the different sports disciplines, they normally present their budgets, which then we review together, and we agree what is funded by government and what is going to be funded by the private sector. And as a matter of policy direction, we have directed all sports federations not to rely only on funding from government. They need to engage the private sector much more so that we can be able to commercialize sports. And we have begun this process in earnest with the Football Federation, with the Safari Rally, and many other federations that we have advised to focus more on raising funds and managing these activities through the private sector. However, the government will still continue to support them, but we encourage as much as possible that the private sector comes in to finance most of the sports activities. Relates to facilities in Kakamega. In Kakamega, Right Honorable Speaker, we have Bukungu Stadium, which is very historic. And Bukungu Stadium had a different design. However, we engaged the county government and agreed to review the design, which we agreed successfully. And right now, the contractor is on the ground. In fact, last week we paid a certificate. Maybe what we need to emphasize, especially for the leaders from there, is to see how some of the pending bills that were incurred before can also be paid, because we agreed on a mechanism between the national and county, and we are on schedule. On matters of the talent academies in that region, some of them are behind schedule, and the contractors have already been issued with notices. In some of them we have cancelled, and some of them we have advised they hasten. So we are on top of the game to make sure that we complete the academies in Kakamega. On matters of Masinde Muliro, which is also a 10,000 seater, we have completed our part of the work. In fact, the contractor completed the roofing. However, there are emerging works which have come forward. For example, the pitch and also reorganizing the changing rooms. They have been assessed now, and anytime we should be able to deploy a contractor to do these works, which were not part of the original contract that we had. The question by Honorable Catherine Muma of gender harassment, I want to assure this House that this is a challenge which is very, very alive. And as a ministry, we have set up a gender protection implementation committee, which is run by a CEO and a steering board members. And the aim of this and the mandate of this committee is to investigate, to research on these issues, and also to ensure that appropriate action is taken. What this committee has done just lately is to do sensitization in most of the counties so that then people know how to report, and also enforcement is undertaken. Question number 8 on Uasin Gishu. First of all, I want to assure the Honorable Senator of Uasin Gishu that the Kipchoge Keino Stadium is now on schedule. The contractor is on the ground, and this time round, we will complete that stadium. Alongside that, we have academies in Nandi, which is Aldai constituency. We also have in Tarbo, and we continue to monitor their implementation. In Isiolo, Honorable Speaker and members, yes, we had a small challenge with some court petitions, but that petition has now been resolved, and the contractor is back on the ground. So Isiolo Stadium will continue. Number 10 by Mheshimiwa on Mombasa. First of all, I want to say that we are working very closely with the county government of Mombasa, and we have identified Likoni as one of the areas that will be doing a community ground, and the county government will equally do others. But on a larger scale, we have resolved the outstanding issues of Mombasa Stadium, and right now we are on schedule to deploy a contractor through the Ministry of Defense to make sure that the stadium can be completed, and that process is with us. I think the other issue from Mkwale was a compliment. I also want to say that had been started by the county government. We embarked on making sure that it complies with sports standards. So we have completed the pitch and other auxiliary works. Handing over for this, for the county government to continue. Chute had wanted to know the budget of Marsabit. In Marsabit, actually, we are doing the facility in conjunction with the county government. There were a few issues of infrastructural integrity, which we is also on schedule to complete the remaining works. This is being funded through the sports
What
fund.
is your issue, Senator Chute? I thought Waziri is responding to your question. What was your question again?
Honorable Speaker, I didn't ask anything about Marsabit. Maybe he got confused. I asked about the 800 million he talked about. He said the president instructed them to invest 800 million in a stadium in Kisumu. And I asked him, was it budget was which year's budget? That was my
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Senator, I also thought it was important for you to know what was happening at home before we can respond globally. Yeah, so what I want to say on these facilities, some of these facilities, some of the budget is in Ministry of Defense, and most of it we do through the sports fund. So that is the mechanism we use for most of these facilities. Otherwise, if you look at our budget, allocation for development. So we normally deploy the sports fund to use in implementation of these facilities. So I hope this now, Mheshimiwa Senator, has to a question, but largely you have also benefited from the information at home. In West Pokot, yes, we have a project there. We have a community ground in Namakuria, in Kacheliba. We'll be deploying a contractor to work in that area. The question from Honorable Zayo about Kilifi. Initially, we had agreed with the county government to construct this stadium in Kilifi town, where we have the ground there by, it's called water something, yeah? Wanjawa water. But when we reassessed, we asked the governor to see whether they can get a new area. And I'm happy to report that they now have a very good ground which they have identified, and that is where we will do the Sita Stadium for Kilifi County, and we should be able to deploy the contractor in the next few weeks. In Bomet, Mheshimiwa from Bomet has raised a question on a specific athlete who is high jump. What we want to do and what we do normally on this matter is to train these athletes through the holiday camps, and she's listed for the next camp in April 2025. However, I also want to assure Mheshimiwa Senator and the House that we will also move ahead to recognize this. So we'll take this as a very special case to ensure that we inspire talent development. Just also for information, it may not have come to the question, is that in Bomet County, we have also attended which has now been advertised, and the advertisement process has been completed. Deployed to do a 10,000 seat. The other question around collaboration with the Ministry of Housing. What I want to say is that we collaborate, but it is not straightforward because not all sites are converted into interest. And therefore, on area has been identified, the could still relocate financing without necessarily involving us through the budget process. So we participate as a technical eye where they have identified to do a sports facility, but it is not straightforward. But it happens in one area, it doesn't happen in another. But on a general sense, all areas of housing should also have amenities for sports. And therefore, we have a collaboration in that respect. In an issue in Nyahururu.
What is your issue you need clarification from Ms.
Mr. Speaker, my question was very specific. It's not about collaboration between the ministry in terms of identifying sporting facilities as an amenities where housing is being done. I'm talking about specific cases where the ministry in charge of housing has identified a space to build markets, like modern markets, while previously those spaces were being used for sporting facilities for those communities, and they're being converted into markets. Do you agree with convert those places into markets? Can they be able to then either give alternative place for developing a facility for kids to play, in developing that kind of development is specific to places that have been converted.
So that I was saying, for those specific comes in as a technical institution to ensure that the standards of sports are met, and And if it is a relocation, then the responsibility of providing budget is also discussed with the Ministry of Housing. Otherwise, we come in as a technical eye on matters, sports, under those circumstances. As I said, it is not all the time that this relocation happens, and therefore it is it goes from site to site where we have collaborated. And we have done this collaboration in many areas. And I'm sure this case in Migori, we will follow up to ensure that the standards of sports are also maintained. Then there was an issue in Nyahururu. In Nyahururu, we are doing Nanyuki. In Laikipia, we are doing Nanyuki 10,000 stadium. And this stadium will have also tracks to make sure that we have the high altitude training for athletics and also for other disciplines. So I think what I want to assure the Honorable Senator and the House is that this facility in Nanyuki will also have those areas for training. So the tartan track will be there for high altitude training. I think the issue that has been raised, the disparity on training of athletes and personnel, Honorable Speaker, I had responded. We are also working on an affirmative action for those who have had low numbers in the last 2 years, so that we can bring them to speed. The other question on clubs paying fees. These fees, I want to clarify, they are not paid to the government. This is a relationship between the federations and the clubs. For them to be recognized by the Football Federation, they have to be they have to pay a small fee, which level. It is not at the minimum. Matter of policy, we all federations to make sure that they reduce on their costs through working with the private sector. By this Nandi, I just want to confirm that the contractor in Cameroon has got drawing initially, which was concluded, and is now gone back. In Kericho, we are also doing a facility, and also in Nandi County. We have quite a number of facilities that are also being done with our colleagues in the Ministry of Defense. So
You have a point of order, Senator Mazayo. Yes. Just a minute, Waziri. He has a point of order. What's your point of order?
Speaker, kidogo nilikuwa nataka waziri aweze kufafanua ameweza kutambua kiwanja mahali fulani ambacho kinaweza kujengewa stadium katika Kilifi County. Nataka afafanue zaidi ni kiwanja kicho kiko mahali gani. Manake tunajua kwamba Kilifi iko na sehemu zile ambazo ziko na watu ndio wanaojaza stadium. Ukienda kuangalia, tunataka kujua either hicho kiwanja kiko Mariakani, kiko Kilifi, kiko Mtwapa, kiko Malindi, ama kiko mahali gani ndani ya katika hizi towns ambazo ziko ndani ya Kilifi County.
Can we give the CS and put it? He didn't get your question.
Na mimi ndio bado nimesimama, Bwana Speaker. Sijui kwa nini unaongea na Bwana Speaker, macho yako makengeza sijui.
Nilidhani kiongozi, nilidhani ulikuwa ushamaliza.
Nilikuwa sijamaliza. Nataka kujua kutoka kwa waziri. Nataka kujua kutoka kwa waziri. Amesema wame-identify ama wametambua kiwanja ambacho kiko mahali fulani. Hakufafanua kiko wapi. Na sisi tunajua katika stadiums normally huwa ni katika masehemu ambayo yako na wananchi. Ndio
sawa. Swali yako ishaeleweka. Yes.
Kama waziri anaweza
kupatia nafasi
kama waziri anaweza kunijibu. Ndio majibu hilo swali.
Na waziri pia iko swali ya Senator wa Cherargei. Senator Cherargei anasema haijajibiwa.
Mr. Speaker, you know the CS should be honest before the House. He should, in Cameroon, there is no works that is ongoing. And I don't know when last he was there. Number two, you know Kibrukut Stadium in Kericho was open. So I wanted him to be specific what they are doing. Is it canopy or what? And there is no contractor in Kibrukut Stadium. Finally, on Nandi, the military came and just scooped some soil and they disappeared. Up to now, I come from Nandi. Can you be honest? If the contractor is not there, he should just give us time, let's say, next one. Instead, my people are watching, and you know, they will go and blame me over the weekend that what is happening on the ground, Vituko ground is different.
What's your point of order?
You know, Mr. Speaker, when Cherargei speaks, Senator Cherargei speaks, we listen. Twice he has said that the CS needs to be honest. Twice. He should be honest. He should be honest. Is it to say that all the responses that the CS has given us, he has been dishonest? Or what exactly is the Senator for Nandi saying?
Senator Minhaj.
Okay.
Bwana Spika, nilimuuliza waziri kuhusu viwanja ambavyo vinaenda kuathirika na mradi wa serikali wa Likoni Gateway Bridge. Na viwanja hivi ni Peleleza, Vimbwanga, Vexula na Massive. Lakini katika jawabu lake amenijibu kuhusu ushirikiano wake na serikali ya ugatuzi ya Mombasa kuhusu ile stadium ambayo tayari ipo. Lile swali ambalo nilikuwa namuuliza, je, kuna mbinu gani mbadala tunautaka utasaidia pwani kwa jumla? Lakini je, hivi viwanja ambavyo vinaathirika, kuna mikakati gani ya kuona kwamba hatutapoteza zile talent ambazo zilikuwa zinatumia viwanja vile vya kabumbu? Shukran.
Thank you. Senator Cherargei, I do agree with Senator Wambua that it is out of order for you to assume that the CS is answering questions dishonestly. And I would accept your question, but I would want you to know the fact that the CS is being not honest so that he can respond to your so please withdraw and apologize.
Mr. Speaker,
you know,
I had used the word lying, it would have been, I said it's not being honest. Mr. Speaker, can you protect me from the minority leader?
You are
is
protecting
heckling.
minority leader.
Why is he heckling?
Senator Cherargei,
yes,
you are assuming that he is not being honest.
I'm not
Yet
assuming, it is a fact, Mr. Speaker. He can prove there is a contractor on site.
He will
we
answer,
can go with him, Mr. Speaker.
Cherargei.
You want me to come and lie before the House and say there is a contractor on site?
Cherargei, when the CS is responding to your questions, he's answering to the best of his knowledge. To the best of his knowledge.
Here. Mr. Speaker, he's here.
He will answer your question, but withdraw and apologize the fact that he's not being honest.
I am trying not to use unparliamentary language. If I had said the CS is lying, it would have been unparliamentary. I'm saying he's not being honest.
Not even say
he
the
should
CS.
tell us, Mr. Speaker, he should tell us these are the facts. I'm not challenging your ruling, Mr. Speaker.
Withdraw and apologize, Chair. Okay.
Mr. Speaker,
the question can be answered.
Mr. Speaker, can I? You know, we have one speaker.
Senators, order. 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 Order, senators. Cherargei. Okay. You've asked a question,
yes,
and you need response.
Yes.
And the people of Nandi are watching you.
Correct.
It is wrong for you to the cabinet secretary in his response. His response is as far as is concerned, and he will respond to your question. But to tell the House and the people of Nandi that the cabinet secretary not being honest is wrong. And that's why I'm asking that you withdraw. You withdraw and apologize so that he can Senator Cherargei. Order, senators.
Mr. Speaker, it is I didn't use unparliamentary language. If I had said the CS is lying, it was different. He's misleading the House. That is my statement, Mr. Speaker, and it is a fact. Can the CS now tell us his facts? Because I know for sure what he's saying is not what is on the ground.
Before the CS responds,
yes,
I want you to withdraw.
Which part, Mr. Speaker, to withdraw my question?
He's not being honest. Withdraw that he's not being honest.
Can I replace the word is misleading the House? Is that better?
Withdraw and replace.
I withdraw and replace that is misleading the House.
Very well. What is your point of order, Senator?
Mr. Speaker, it's concerning the way he answered my question. I had asked about Nyahururu Stadium. I am aware about Nanyuki Stadium. He's directing me to a different area, and I'm aware. So he's not. Mr. Speaker, all what I wanted is for him to answer the question of Nyahururu Stadium, not to direct me to Nanyuki Stadium. That I'm aware. Often, that one will be done. So I just wanted him to answer Nyahururu Stadium.
Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. And Cabinet Secretary, please try to respond to the questions asked by the senators.
Thank you very much. I think, Honorable Speaker, I also take the opportunity to give more information to Senators. But on Nyahururu, we have the contractor who will conclude the process. So that's the update I have. On Nandi, where a lot of vocabulary has been used, I want to say Mr. Speaker and members, on the 7th of March, CBRC over the site in Nandi. They have begun work to relocate power lines and to put the site into good in terms of construction. So that is what is happening. If you have a photo, I also have photos, and I have people who are on the ground. So that is on the 7th of March, 2026. So I think I want to confirm. I want to confirm, my Honorable Speaker, that on the 7th of March, and I know they have been relocating power lines in preparation for the real work of doing the stadium. In Kilifi,
Cherargei, let us hear a response. Cherargei, Senator Cherargei, let's hear the response in silence.
CRBC on the 7th. No, I have mentioned the contractor. It is part of the details.
Order, senators. You cannot engage the CS while he's responding. Can we allow the CS to respond in silence? Order, Senator Cherargei. Let us hear the CS.
Kwa mheshimiwa wa Kilifi, kama vile nilikuwa nimezungumza hapo awali, tulikuwa tumekubaliana uwanja wa michezo ujengwe kwa mji wa Kilifi. Na wakati tulitembelea hiyo sehemu na maafisa wa kiutaalamu, ilionekana hiyo kiwanja ni nyingine ilinyakuliwa na ikajengwa. Kwa hivyo serikali ya kaunti ya Kilifi tukakubaliana na wao watafute sehemu nyingine ambayo wameipata kama kilomita 10 away from Kilifi, sehemu inaitwa Tezo. Sehemu inaitwa Tezo ambayo ni katikati ya Kilifi na Malindi. Tutapeleka contractor ili aweze kujenga kiwanja ya kisasa katika kaunti ya Kilifi. Na hiyo ni tumesuluhisha mambo mengi, na wakati wowote tutaweza kutuma kandarasi afanye hiyo kazi. Pia kulikuwa na swala la Kericho. Kericho Stadium, which after assessment, remember this was done during the celebrations. So this Kericho Green Stadium does not meet the standards for sports. And therefore, what has happened, Mr. Speaker, we have an alternative ground, an alternative stadium, which is being constructed at Kapkatet, and this is ongoing. And these are facts, just also to make sure that I be emphatic. These are facts. Kapkatet Stadium is what has been identified, and it is ongoing. So the other question, supplementary question from Mheshimiwa Miraj. You know, some of the community areas where they do football on their own, they may not have been registered also as sports facilities in the manner that we know them. However, in situations where these grounds are allocated because of other projects, the compensation process takes care of these facilities during relocation. And therefore, if there is a plan to relocate families and people, these facilities also become part of those facilities that should be compensated. And when that time comes, the Ministry of Sports will play its technical role to ensure that we provide advice to the implementing agency to do facilities that meet the sports standard. So I'm sure these local fields in these areas will be part of that. However, at the official level, we have agreed with the county government to partner on the Mombasa Stadium, but also we are considering a community ground in Likoni in an area called Bububu. So, Honorable Speaker, I think at that level, I wish to say that by and large, I have been able to respond to the issues, and just to reconfirm that we paid the contractor for Cameroon, and he is gone back to site. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. Senator Boni Kalwale.
Mr. Speaker, Article 227 of the Constitution stipulates that procurement of public goods and services must be done in a fair manner, a manner which is equitable, transparent, competitive, and cost-effective. Mr. Speaker, Would the minister explain to the House, China Road and Bridges Construction Company, which he appears to have given several stadia in this country, including Talanda, Mr. Speaker, how is the procurement of this company such that it keeps on succeeding in all projects that, to the ears of the public, a pronouncement has already been made by the government that they are being done by the defense forces? Correct. Mr. Speaker, is it the defense forces doing the projects, or it is this Chinese company? And Minister, I say this with a lot of prompting from Kenyans who are watching, because just a few days ago, a man who was competing with this company bid for the construction of the railways in Nairobi, $22 billion. And this guy, his bid was $29 billion. And because of that, the guy who was competitive was deported, Mr. Speaker. Can you? I am building my question, Mr. Speaker.
No problem. I have no problem with you building the question. But you're referring to this guy. Who is this guy? Be specific.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, thank you for taking me there. Mr. Speaker, I was just building my question, but because you have invited me, the construction of the rail line in Nairobi, China Road and Bridges Construction Company made a bid of $22 billion. And his competitor, again, Chinese CEEE, made GCC made a bid of 29. The other way around. This guy made a bid of 20. Relax. You are a junior member of parliament. Listen to us. We want to teach you. You are not a minister. Shame on you, Tabitha. We are talking about public funds, not funds of your family.
Senator Kalwale.
Mr. Speaker.
Senator Kalwale. Order, senators. Order, senators. Senator Kalwale. Order, senators. Order. Senator Kalwale, I'm a little bit disappointed that you are calling Tabitha a first-time member, yet you're on the floor of the House and you're engaging her instead of engaging the chair. You seem to have forgotten that procedure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
What is your point of order, Senator Tabitha?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senior, as I call him, Senator Boni Halwale, just called me shameless on the floor of this House. As a senior member, I expect him to show a lot of respect. And there's always a beginning, there's always a starting point. You know? So, Mr. Speaker, I would like him to withdraw and apologize.
What's your point of order, Cherargei?
Mr. Speaker, I raise under Standing Order 101 on contents of speech that I demand Senator Boni Kalwale, who is a Gaina by Medic. Mr. Speaker, it says, under Standing Order 1016, a senator shall refer to another senator by the title senator, and he referred as a junior senator and called Senator Mutinda shameless. Mr. Speaker, he called shame on you. Can the distinguished senator of Kakamega, Senator Boni Kalwale, Doctor, withdraw and apologize to Senator Mutinda and other first-time members of the Senate? Because, Mr. Speaker, we'll send him to Italani.
Senator Kalwale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator
Mr.
Boni
Speaker,
Kalwale, if you did indeed call Senator Tabitha names, it is only proper, a member of this House, to apologize and withdraw, and then proceed with your question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to do so, but in a procedural manner. Raising the point of order has told all Kenyans who care to listen that he went to Kapsabet High School. The English of Khalwale is a Gaina by Medic. Does not sound like the English of somebody who went through a credible school like Kapsabet High School. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, I want to withdraw the remarks about the distinguished Senator Tabitha Morin Mutinda.
Cherargei, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, this is I am not in discussion. If he wants to discuss me, he can bring a substantive motion. And I will hold him back. This is somebody, Mr. Speaker, this is a disgraced chief whip. We removed him. If he was a very efficient, why did we whip him, Mr. Speaker? Can he withdraw and apologize, Mr. Speaker, to me? He cannot go on record, Mr. Speaker. He must apologize. He must apologize, Mr. Speaker, for discussing the school in disrepute, Mr. Speaker. He must apologize, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you cannot allow Senator Boni Khalwale to go on record, Mr. Speaker, to discuss me. The standing orders provide for why is he discussing me. The issue was he should withdraw what he referred to Senator Mutinda. It was not about me. So can he withdraw, or if he wants to discuss me, you can bring a substantive motion, Mr. Speaker. I don't care. And I will deal with him, Mr. Speaker. If he's smoking bang, he should stop smoking bang, Mr. Speaker.
Order, Senator Cherargei. You are out of order. You are out of order. Senator Cherargei, before we even go to that matter, you are grossly out of order. Senator Cherargei, I want you to apologize and withdraw this last statement you made on Boni Khalwale, on Senator Boni Khalwale.
Mr. Speaker, the point has been made. I withdraw.
And
but
apologize.
He knows what he consumes. That is why he gets confused
Withdraw
and insults everybody.
Withdraw and apologize.
I withdraw and apologize, but he consumes that substance.
Well. Senator Cherargei, that is not proper,
But
Senator Cherargei.
he must also withdraw, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cherargei, we were going to ask him to
I
apologize,
withdraw
but
and
you have
apologize
completely...
to my good neighbor, Senator Boni Khalwale, for what he uses.
Senator Boni Khalwale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was making a very important point. And the point, Mr. Speaker, is...
Senator
yes.
Boni Khalwale.
Yes.
Did you in any way or form disrespect the great school of Kapsabet boys when making your submission?
Not in any way, Mr. Speaker.
What did you mean by your statement?
I was wondering how a great school like Kapsabet High School could possibly
and
have
be very careful.
Out.
Be very careful,
yes,
so
yes.
that you don't fall into the trap again.
Exactly.
Proceed.
Could possibly have churned out what the country is witnessing, but that is not the issue. The issue, Mr. Speaker, is that the issue is that
Senator Boni Khalwale, order, Senator. Sit down. Sit down. Senator Boni Kalwale. Senator Boni Kalwale, just withdraw and apologize and proceed with your question.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, I have withdrawn and apologized. Mr. Speaker, any attempts to try and silence this very important point is not fair to the public. China Roads and Bridges Construction Company made a bid, I said, of 29 billion shillings. And the same project, China Communication Constructions Company made a bid of $22 billion. So the guy of $22 billion was not only denied that contract, but he has been deported out of the country, Mr. Speaker. And people with financial understanding are telling us that it might cost Kenya up to 7 billion shillings for denying this guy a fair opportunity to get this job. So, Mr. Speaker, I was using that to build the question to the minister that is Article 227, from which the Public Procurement and Disposal of Assets Act 2015 is drawn, is it applicable in this story of stadia in this country? And if it is, how come that CRBC keeps on getting these jobs, and then we are told it is the defense forces which are constructing, and when you go on site, you see Chinese people on the site. Are Chinese members of the military?
Senator Bon Kalwale, just to better understand your question, the reference you made for the amounts bidded for a project, we need you to be a little bit more specific. Which project are you referring to?
Mr. Speaker, the British government is supporting the Republic of Kenya in upgrading the transport system using rail in Nairobi. And this project is in public domain. So I was using it to build my concern that this particular contractor appears to be enjoying some privileges within the decision-making system of the Republic at the expense of Article 227, which provides that procurement of public goods and services, Mr. Speaker, must be fair, must be competitive, must be equitable, and must be done at a cost-effective fee.
Cabinet Secretary.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker and honorable members. And it is always a pleasure, to be in this house and to witness the debate. Coming back to the issues. First of all, I want to say that the facts that have been provided by the honorable senator about procurement and the issues raised are not related to what we do in the ministry. As much as they have been used to build a case, they are not related to what we do in the Ministry of Sports, Creative Economy, and Sport. And we can demonstrate, Honorable Speaker, that we have different contractors across Kenya who do the different facilities, and we can demonstrate that. And in as much as the debate has gone in that direction, I want to confirm that the Minister of Sports adheres to the procurement law. And therefore, we have no reason to send panic to Kenyans. The contractor who is in Muranga is a different contractor. The contractor in Kitui is different. The contractor in Bukhungu is different. The contractor in Kapkatet is different. The contractor in Kipchoge Keino is different from the contractor in Masinde Muliro and Marsabit, and in Nandi, in Mombasa, and in Kakamega. So I think in terms of this session, Honorable Speaker, allow me to confirm that we have followed the procurement law, and that can be demonstrated. I think the other details that there was procurement of 22 billion and 29 billion, they are not facts that we can use to build a case for the Ministry of Sports. So I just wanted to make that clarity and to thank members of the Senate for this opportunity, and given another chance, we will continue to engage on matters of sports, on matters of youth affairs, and other matters that concern the ministry. Otherwise, I want to thank you most sincerely and to assure you that the reforms that His Excellency the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, is doing to promote talent development across Kenya. These efforts have been unprecedented because you remember, honorable members, that for 40 years, Kenya could not even host a continental tournament. It is only during the leadership of His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto that now we are back. We are back in the continental affairs. And as a ministry, we are on schedule to implement this vision and to ensure that we give opportunity to all Kenyans at the grassroots to have sports facilities where they can train, they can develop their talent, and we can make talent a source of livelihoods. Honorable Speaker, along that direction, we have equally reviewed the cash awards for different athletes so that we can make sports a fully fledged livelihood program. And we are going on to make sure that we even, maybe next time, we will come back here with a new policy and legislation that is looking at how we can commercialize sports. And again, in that policy and legislation, we are also making proposals on how we can manage the sports infrastructure across Kenya so that they can be sustainable, so that they can support generations to come, and the public can have value for money. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker and members of the Senate. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. No, I'm not taking any more. I'm not taking more. No, we are out of time. Cabinet Secretary, I know that was almost, yes, just order, senators, order. Order, just hear me out. Cabinet Secretary, I know that was almost your closing statement, but we still have two more questions from two senators, and I will allow the two senators, Senator Seki, and then followed by Senator Joe Newton. The last two questions.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think I was almost to be cut off, but I really appreciate. Honorable Speaker, I want to ask a question to the Cabinet Secretary and really want to appreciate him for answering questions well and try to be calm when sometimes we are hot in this House. Honorable Speaker, the CS for sports need to tell this House, because I think he's tried to respond to many questions in different counties, but I've not heard anything about Kajiado. Honorable Speaker, could the Cabinet Secretary tell us, or tell this House, what are the plans for the ministry in regards to stadiums any sports arrangements or even projects in Kajiado. But I want also him to respond on how is he giving individuals, and that is one of the best, important questions that you want to answer. One of the individuals is doing some stadiums in Kajiado, constructing with government money and hand over to KFS. Is it KFF or what? Yes. And hand over them. Because this last week, Saturday, we had one individual who did a study in Ngong, in Kitengela, to a tune of almost 6 million, purporting to be the ministry's money. I don't know if you have that arrangement, that funding. And I think it is good that I say, by the name State House Controller, is going around doing your work. I don't know if you have that budget.
Senator Seki, I want to caution you. There is no way you can drop names
I withdraw
of
the
officers.
name,
Withdraw.
but I think you really know get it. You've got it now. The name of the person who is doing on your behalf some works. I don't know if you have that budget. So I wanted the clarification from the ministry. Is that money coming from the ministry? Because he was ready to launch a stadium, Kitengela Stadium, to your department just recently. So we wanted to do that, to get that clarification, because these are public funds, because there is no one individual who can have more than 7 million to put on a public field or even stadium without the ministry. So I wanted that clarification, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Joe Newton.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for giving me this opportunity. I just wanted to ask the CS whether he is aware that a stadium in Muranga by the name Gakoigo Stadium has already been approved for upgrading by the ministry, but then it has now been moved from Gakoigo sports grounds to another area, Mr. Speaker. So I needed to know whether he is aware and what the reasons are for moving Gakoigo Stadium to another place. And finally, Mr. Speaker, with your permission, to just inform the minister that Kenya has performed before President Ruto came to power. In 1987, we won the African Cup of Nations which was done in the Nyayo Stadium. So, Mr. Speaker, it's important that the CS may have that information. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Cabinet Secretary.
Thank you very much, honorable members and honorable Speaker. First of all, I want to say that in Kajiado, we have not allocated 7 million for any facility. And as I said earlier, we encourage the private sector to participate also in, mobilizing resources for sports activities. However, we don't have any 7 million budget that has been allocated to an individual. And where this has been done, then maybe at a later stage, we will look at the standards. However, we don't have that. What we have in Kajiado is a plan in Kajiado West and Kajiado South and North. We are actually assessing, and it is part of the list that we have submitted to Sports Kenya board so that they can approve, and then we can move ahead to do a proper facility in that county. Individuals are encouraged also to make a contribution. However, the ministry will reserve the right to make sure that there is compliance with sports standards. In Muranga, Honorable Speaker, we are doing Mumbi Stadium, a 10,000 seater, and we are also identified Gakoigo. In Gakoigo, the earlier site which had been identified could not fit, and there were also issues with community, and therefore we have moved and identified summer ground, which is now being considered as the next site for this project. And therefore I want to assure the Honorable Senator that we are on schedule to make sure that the Kenyans living in that area can also have a facility to inspire their talents. However, Gakoigo could not fit, and it is not just Gakoigo. There are many, many areas where leaders, community have identified for construction of a stadium, but when we go and look at it technically, some of them have not been able to fit. And you remember, Honorable Speaker, I had mentioned the stadium in Kericho also had a similar problem, and we had to relocate it to Kapkatet. So this action, this decision in Gakoigo is not as isolated. It is part of what we do to make sure that we maintain the standards of sports activities in Kenya. And therefore, Honorable Senator, I want to assure you and the members here that we are on schedule to make sure that that community still benefits from the sports infrastructure. However, the earlier site has issues, and therefore we will be moving to another site within the same locality. Honorable Speaker, I think I have adequately responded to the two issues that have been raised lately, but I also want to say that we are ready as a ministry to work very closely with the Senate, and especially the committee relating to youth and sports, the one on infrastructure, and any other, to make sure that we are very transparent, but also to say that sports now should receive the attention it deserves. I think this is one of the sectors that had not been focused before. And my comment on the 40 years also resonates with what the Senator has said, because the last time Kenya hosted a tournament was in 1987. That's the time we hosted a continental showbiz. And since then, we have not had that opportunity until last year. The same rhythm in the 80s, that's the time we also had a big infrastructure on sports in Kasarani. And in between, we have not had. Until now, we have the Raila Odinga Talanta Stadium here in Nairobi. So I think as a ministry and government, we will continue to make sure that we implement the vision to allow and to create an enabling environment for our young people, men and women, to inspire their talents and truly make sports and talents a source of livelihood. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker and members, and I wish you all the best in the rest of the debates.
Thank you, Cabinet Secretary, and we also thank you for taking the time to come and engage with the senators and for your responses. And we also want to wish you all the best in your duties and in improving the sports facilities in Kenya. I will now give you leave, Cabinet Secretary. Thank you very much. Honorable Senators, we shall proceed with the business of the day. I'm going to rearrange the order paper slightly, and we will defer order number 8 and go straight to order number 9. Clerk.
Order number 9, motion, report of the proceedings of the Artificial Intelligence Conference on the role of Parliament in shaping the future of responsible AI, held 28th to 30th November 2025 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Senator Enoch Wambua.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to prosecute the order captured as order number 9 in the order paper today. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the Senate notes the report of the proceedings of the Artificial Intelligence Conference on the role of Parliament in shaping the future of responsible AI, held between 28th to 30th November 2025 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, which report, Mr. Speaker, was laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 24th February 2026. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Parliament, the Senate of the Republic of Kenya, for sponsoring me to attend this very important conference that took place, as indicated, in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. And Mr. Speaker, as I move this motion based on the report that we tabled last month, Mr. Speaker, I want to draw two distinctions for the benefit of all of us. Mr. Speaker, in most cases, when we talk about artificial intelligence, there is always confusion between artificial intelligence and just the general social media platforms. Mr. Speaker, let it go on record that artificial intelligence is a field which combines computer science and robust data sets to enable problem solving. That whereas, the Speaker, AI analyzes data, automates tasks, and generates content, social media is a platform for human connection, communications, and content sharing. It is at that point, Mr. Speaker, that I want to make reference to what has just happened a few minutes on the floor of this House. Mr. Speaker, through a robust engagement with social media platforms, the internet, Mr. Speaker, it is very easy for members of this House to draw a line between when they are being told the truth and when they are being misled. As Mr. Speaker, at times it may not look very good on us when misleading information is given to us either by our colleagues or by a cabinet secretary appearing before us, and before we even cross-check on the veracity of that information, we are applauding the giver of the motion. Mr. Speaker, as I move this motion on AI, which borders on the use, on directive use of the internet, the CS who has just walked out has told us on record that for more than 40 years, this country has not been able to host continental games and sports in our stadiums. Mr. Speaker, a quick look at the internet, Mr. Speaker, and we have these gadgets that the PSC provided to members just the other day. Let us make use of these gadgets, Mr. Speaker, because a quick look would show you, Mr. Speaker, that between August 1st and August 12th of 1987, Kenya hosted the 4th All Africa Games at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. And Mr. Speaker, that was perhaps actually one of the biggest events that we have held at a continental level, which brought together 42 countries, and there are competitions within 14 sports. Mr. Speaker, a closer look again would have demonstrated that in the year from 2020 to date, Kenya has been hosting the World Athletics Continental Tour Gold, Mr. Speaker, which is an elite sports game bringing together elite African and international athletes since 2020 to date.
Mr. Speaker, lastly, a quick look would have shown that in the year 2021, Kenya hosted the World Athletics Under-20 Championships at Kasarani, Mr. Speaker. That was actually after we had hosted successively the Under-18 Championships. Mr. Speaker, so it's important to interact with the internet in real time for us to be able to know exactly what we are being told, whether it is true or we are being misled. Mr. Speaker, I thought it would be important to put that record straight. So, Mr. Speaker, going back to the conference that we had in Kuala Lumpur, Mr. Speaker, that conference was on the role of parliaments in shaping the future of responsible AI, which was organized by the Interparliamentary Union, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, and the United Nations Development Programme, and the Parliament of Malaysia, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, during that conference, participants, Mr. Speaker, were very, very keen on examining how parliaments can guide the development, governance, and oversight of artificial intelligence in a manner that upholds human rights, advances sustainable development, and protects democratic institutions. Mr. Speaker, at the conference, there were concerns, and these concerns are even real today. That, Mr. Speaker, one of the biggest concerns that was raised at the conference was how power of artificial intelligence has been concentrated within big companies and small number of countries. The Speaker, at the conference, there were concerns that the big tech companies, the 7 big tech companies, Nvidia, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, Apple, and Tesla, have really taken over the development of infrastructure and models for AI, and that everybody else, the small tech companies and countries with economies under transition, are struggling to play catch-up with the advancements in AI. And so, Mr. Speaker, at the conference, there was concern that there will be need for parliaments, especially parliaments in the global south, to take a more keen role and interest in the development of AI for use within the chambers, Mr. Speaker, in the parliaments, for use, Mr. Speaker, even with interactions with the populations of the people that we represent in our parliaments. Mr. Speaker, the speakers explained that AI is already changing politics, Mr. Speaker, and public life, including through AI-generated content used in election campaigns. Mr. Speaker, we are about to get into some serious electioneering period. And I want to call upon my colleagues, including Dr. Boni Halwale. Where we are going as leaders in this country, the traditional campaigns as we have known them may begin to take a backseat, and AI may begin to play a more leading role in our campaigns. The engagement, Mr. Speaker, that we have had with the voters is not going to be business as usual, because AI now has capacity to generate content for your opponents who are tech savvy and find a medium through which to transmit that content
which could be at times misleading, there could be misinformation. In a lot of cases, actually, there is deliberate disinformation to change the order in terms of the people in office today. And so it is incumbent upon all of us, including Senator Veronica Maina, to invest seriously, Mr. Speaker, on AI as both a campaign tool, again, as a model through which we do our parliamentary work. As the Speaker, I've just demonstrated how easy it is to identify true information and misinformation and disinformation just by the touch of the button. Now, Speaker, I would want to invite my colleagues in their free time, or even now because we have gadgets before us, to look at the effect of AI in the elections held in Ireland, in Netherlands, and the United States of America, Mr. Speaker. It can make it harder, Mr. Speaker, for voters to know exactly what the truth is in these campaigns. Mr. Speaker, the participants also noted that many citizens are worried about how AI is being used and about too much power, I have already said that, sitting in big companies. Mr. Speaker, in reference to the IPU's October 2024 resolution on AI and democracy, the speakers emphasized the need for clear and strong laws, as well as active involvement of international talks on how AI should be managed. They also stressed that parliaments must encourage open public discussion and help both MPs and citizens better understand AI so that the decisions reflect people's real concerns. The Speaker, one of the biggest challenges, especially for parliaments in the Global South, was identified as the slow pace at which we initiate, process, and conclude legislation. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, we are in a fast-moving world. We are driving on information superhighways. Mr. Speaker, it can never be business as usual, and this I say even in reference to our own processing of legislation in this parliament. Mr. Speaker, the rate at which AI is churning out solutions is too fast for our analog system of developing legislation. We were told here by the majority leader the other day, it takes an average of around 3 years, at best maybe 2 years, unless it is a government-sponsored law, to initiate, process, and conclude a single law. Madam Speaker, by the time you are going through those processes, if that is a process of managing the effectiveness of responsible AI, by the time it is two years down the line, Madam Speaker, the model for which you were legislating is in the archives. Nobody is interested in it. People have already moved to other models. So, Mr. Speaker, there will be need for parliaments in the Global South to fast track and look for ways of generating and finalizing on legislation, especially that which is supposed to manage the use of responsible AI. Madam Speaker, there was also concern among speakers on the strong leadership from parliaments to make sure that AI supports democracy instead of arming it, and that closer cooperation between countries is needed because AI affects everyone. Parliaments will encourage the Speaker to invest in training, safeguards, and public engagement so that AI is used in a careful, transparent, and people-focused way. Madam Speaker, you know, one of the best ways of using AI in our context would be in us individually preparing for debates on the floor of the House. Would be us using AI, Madam Speaker, to even develop content for and shape the questions and statements that we bring to the floor of the Senate. Madam Speaker, as I said, it can never be business as usual in the way we transact business on the floor of the House in this era of AI. Madam Speaker, very quickly, in the year 2024, there were more than 60 countries that held national elections. It was the same year, Madam Speaker, that AI was gaining momentum, even in the global south. The Speaker, truth be told, AI has permeated the election ecosystem today in a way that it has never happened before. And so it is incumbent upon us, Madam Speaker, to prepare and reflect on our best to respond to these developments. As Speaker, as I move towards the concluding, as Speaker, I want my colleagues to also realize that AI is very instrumental, very useful, in quotes, both for good and bad actors, because it aids both to achieve their goals. The Speaker, Madam Speaker, for us, it will be important to use AI in live translations, voter outreach, and the general management, Madam Speaker, of our politics. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, during the conference, starting with Madam Speaker, this House must also know that they did not just send a senator to go and sit and watch. Madam Speaker, I went there and I participated in the conference, and very, very robustly, Madam Speaker. And during the conference, members of the Kenyan delegation were actively involved in the deliberations that greatly enriched the resolutions. In his contribution, or in my contribution, Madam Speaker, I highlighted the practical opportunities that artificial intelligence presents for parliamentary work, noting that MPs could benefit from AI-assisted summarization of committee reports and smart search tools across the answered and committee records to quickly retrieve relevant information for debates and oversight. And that's just what I demonstrated, Madam Speaker, a few minutes ago, when the CS gave misleading information about the number. Madam Speaker, can I ask for just 1 minute to 2 minutes to conclude?
You have 1 minute to conclude that.
So when the CS gave misleading information about the number of sports activities that have happened for the last 40 years, just by a click of a button, Madam Speaker, I was able to identify that this is misinformation. And that's what AI is supposed to help us here on the floor of the House. Madam Speaker, I further observed that at the institutional level, AI-powered virtual assistants on the parliamentary website could help respond to common public questions, while automated, faster production of subtitles for video streams would enhance transparency and make parliamentary proceedings more accessible to all. Madam Speaker, so that we don't build silos, and I'm not campaigning for myself, Madam Speaker, it would be important for me, for purposes of continuity, to attend the next AI conference. And the Speaker can build on this, and then I bring that resource back to my colleagues. We help them, Madam Speaker, appreciate AI even more. Madam Speaker, with those many remarks, I do move and ask Senator Eddie Okech to second.
Senator Enoch Wambua, that's a very interesting proposition and suggestion that you should be sent back to another international conference. I hope the next AI conference you'll be in Kisumu City or Muranga, yes, so that you can equally have the same zeal and enthusiasm to attend a conference which is held locally to support the AI narrative. Thank you. Senator Eddie Okech. Eddie Okech, you're also Senator Geshero, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, you may proceed now.
Yes, I am Senator Eddie Gisheru Okech, proudly so, born and bred in Migori, but Madam Speaker, as you might know, I grew up after my mother passed on in 2003. I got adopted by 7 families who assisted me to be able to go to school. Among those families was the Gisheru family, Okongo Kennedy family, Adwar family. I cannot mention all of them because that was not the topic, but that is where I get my name. So I appreciate the fact that it took very many villages to build this child, and I always appreciate that in my life, and they hold a dear place in my heart.
That's excellent, and we commend those families for raising such a distinct senator of note from Migori.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And also, it's a genuine reminder that we are more one people than sometimes these ethnical, coups and divisions that we see in the country. We are one people as Kenyans, and I hope that we'll reach a point where, as a country, we will not be divided along ethnic lines, and we can build one country. But that said, Madam Speaker, this is actually an extreme honor for me to second this report by Senator that has been presented in this House by Senator Wambua. Of course, I'll be remiss if I don't appreciate the delegation that did go to Kuala Lumpur, yeah? That is the Kuala Lumpur, where that is Malaysia, and this delegation, Madam Speaker, just recognized that it had a team of 4. Of course, our own Senator Wambua, Enoch, CBS. I'll be very remiss also if I don't say CBS. He has really earned a lot in this House. We also had Honorable Robert Basil Ngui, who's a friend of mine, MP from the National Assembly, and also accompanied by our able team from the Secretariat, Madam Marlene Ayiro from National Assembly. I think she's the principal legal counsel there, as well as our own, Angela Masharia, who is a senior clerk here, Madam Speaker. And it's very interesting that Senator Wambua has actually also highlighted that during his time there, he did look for the opportunity to be able to highlight that as a parliament, we must be able to start looking for practical opportunities, as well as practical navigation into making AI, artificial intelligence, presence in our work in parliament, as parliamentarians, and as he sees it, Madam Speaker, that we can actually use AI tools to be able to promote answered, as well as be able to promote any other records that we have here, and even while doing our committee works. But beyond that, Madam Speaker, this report is generally about the use of intelligence in the context of responsibility, so that as a parliament, we can be able to evaluate our role in shaping the future of responsible AI, And I think that one is something that cuts across not just our work in parliament, but also being able to make sure that in the country we can be able to have proper use of AI. And Madam Speaker, I think there is nothing that can be able to explain technological advancement across the globe as compared to AI. Because AI, artificial intelligence, is basically how technology has advanced to the extent that it can be able to consume data, replicate it, harness it, and be able to be ahead of just simple computing and give proper direction and information that can be used in any platform and in any manner. And therefore, Madam Speaker, the regulation gaps that we as parliamentarians are going to face is exactly what Senator Wambua has talked about. How do you marry this technological advancement and the pace of that change with our own legislations? I think this is the key thing. So that our legislations can be able to, number one, keep up with that speed and keep up with the accuracy. Because while there's advancement on the speed of AI, there has to be also accuracy on the side of our laws to the extent that this report and the conversation that in this report we're looking at. Because one of the biggest problems that we face as legislatures is how can we keep up with that rapid advancement so that we do not produce either sometimes outdated laws or sometimes premature laws. And we have seen this, Madam Speaker, in a number of ways. You remember the finance bill, the other time that we were talking about the finance bill, and there were conversations around taxations on platforms of content creation, for instance. Today, if you look at the United States, you will see young people who have never had any vocals in terms of being able to sing. They can go, use an AI platform, rap on the AI platform, generate beautiful music, sell right from their house, and just using a phone. No any other technology, just a phone with a proper AI interface and platform, and they make money, millions of dollars doing that. So you'll find that in our country, because we are not keeping up with that pace of change, you might want to move in an outdated manner, or sometimes in a premature manner, to tax that platform without knowing the basics, and then before you realize, you are having problems with the young people, the so-called Gen Zs. Because they are basics. The basics include simple things like, who are the owners of these platforms of AI? Who are the developers? Which companies are now developing AIs to the extent that they're advancing this fast? And where are they based? If Meta, for instance, Madam Speaker, is developing AIs that are based in Ireland, would you not want laws as legislators to make sure that instead of taxing a young person, like maybe, let's say, Chipukizi or Aziad or Eric Omondi, who is just using this AI because they are also keep catching up with the simple technology that they are consuming, instead of taxing them, maybe you might want to advance into thinking about where are these companies based in terms of their corporate tax responsibility, and then require legislations that will attract them to come to our country and then be able to responsibly tax them and responsibly put in place regulations that will make them use AI in a more responsible manner, including being able to hold them accountable and being able to ensure transparency in the data that comes from those platforms. And these basic things sometimes skip us, Senator Wambua, if I may address you through the chair. Even in this house, Madam Speaker, recently, we had technology that changed very fast, and we were invited into this house and told, can you go and be able to put your biometrics so that you can be able to use those biometrics to do what? To access our machines here in Parliament as you contribute in Parliament. Which senator, which one of us dared to ask, who is the owner of this technology that we are using? Where is that data going to? Where is that data housed? Because we know that in Kenya, we do not have proper data center to the extent that if you're mining, if you're at least on the floor, somebody not ask on the floor. Because if you ask in private, I might not know.
Senator Hazena, there is something you seem to be interjecting. You want to inform the senator. Do you want to be informed, Senator Eddie Okech?
Madam Speaker, I don't mind being informed because this is a very good conversation, and is a young legislator just like myself, but I just hope that you hold on my time as well, because this is a very important contribution.
Hold this time, hold this time.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It was rather a point of information. The Honorable Senator for Migori had asked if any senator had questioned where our data was going as far as the new devices installed are concerned. And I just wanted to inform him that I had asked, but there was no clear information as to where our data was going. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe you are duly informed. And Secretariat, that was a serious inquiry. So it's important. These are senators of the Republic of Kenya. And it's important to know where the data is housed, who is keeping it, the data in respect of the system. The current system in use, it's a new system. So can you make sure that information is availed and information given to the senators before the data is dispatched to the wrong quarters, if at all the source is not known? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you for that information, Senator Zena. Because as I've said, Madam Speaker, this was a very important conversation because AI, the part of legislation that we must focus on is also being able to balance the idea of innovation and safety so that you cannot overregulate and stifle that innovation like what we have in these gadgets, which have got some AI features, which are really good. But, Madam Speaker, in the same manner, for you to have technological progress, you cannot also have insufficient oversight that leads to risks like misuse, privacy, violation, and misinformation that Senator Wambua did refer to. And that was in the context with which I was asking about how our data is being managed here, because I know that in Kenya, we actually do not have competitive global data centers. That because AI is all about data. It's all about how data is gathered, aggregated, and then used in a way that can be able to build different logs in what we call, in technology, black boxes. And Madam Speaker, I know this because I remember, I think it was last year, when the president, 2 years ago, when the president went to the United States, you remember the state, the time that he was hosted in the state as the first African president that has been hosted since, I think, 2008 in the United States. And there was fanfare around that. And remember, Madam Speaker, that when the president went there and met these tech gurus in the United States, he was given a chance by Google to be able to come and build a data center here. And when we got here, Madam Speaker, we did not have enough energy to even have data center because we only have about 3,000 megawatts that we are producing currently. That data center alone wanted 1,000 megawatts. And that's why when you talk about technological advancement, you want to also look at facets of regulation that you want to put on other supporting basic technology. Like right now, I'm proud of the president talking about the creation of nuclear energy. Because the nuclear energy, if it is created in this country, Madam Speaker, then we can have opportunity of producing about 10,000 megawatts in our country. With that 10,000 megawatts, then you can be able to guarantee building data centers that can be able to accommodate even as one company to start building AI, to start building data centers in our country. And this is critical, Madam Speaker, in terms of just cost of power that goes with this AI. Lastly, Madam Speaker, I wanted to talk very critically. Please,
Senator Eddie Okech, I think you've been informed by very many senators today.
Which is
Senator
good.
Enoch Wabua would like to inform you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Can
I
proceed.
agree. I accept because he's the one who brought this.
Madam Speaker, as Senator Eddie said, and you have also alluded to, this is a very important conversation. You know, he has said that the President William Ruto was the first African head of state to be hosted by an American president for the last 8 years. Now, so I just went in there, Madam Speaker, and checked. And it tells me that President William Ruto of Kenya is recognized as the first African head of state to be accorded an official state visit to the United States in over 15 years. And that it was the first state visit by an African leader since 2008, when Ghanaian President John Kufuor was hosted by President George W. Bush. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. That's important information. You may proceed, Senator Eddie.
You see where I should go to the next one.
I think I'm just...
Give Senator Eddie the mic, please. Go to the dispatch.
Madam Speaker, I appreciate that information from Senator Wambua, and I think we are consistent because I said that it was being given that unofficial state visit since 2008, and I think that was consistent. When the President of Ghana was given the same kind of support. And I think I was saying it in the context that, Madam Speaker, on my last point, that I was putting this in the context that when you look at this report and the conversations that were going on there, you quickly realize that AI development is actually a global agenda, so that if you have got inconsistency in regulations at a global level and not having a platform to have that cross-border harmonization of our laws with what global laws look like, then, Madam Speaker, you can get into a lot of problems in terms of just cross-border jurisdiction compliances, as well as just the scale with which you can be able to advance your technology. So it's important that for us to be able to look at how AI is being developed in our country from what the conversations that were there, and I really hope that legislators will read that report, because there are some very good conversations there, Madam Speaker, that can be able to help us deal with our lack of capacity, just in terms of the regulatory frameworks. That includes the bodies that we need to put in place that can be able to look at those regulations, that can be able to look at how we can be able to advance the technical expert that we have in the country, including sometimes even having serious audit functions. Madam Speaker, Senator Wambua just talked about possibility of elections coming in a way that people can even start using homograms in AI to be able to talk to each other. But that is even less important. It is important, but less important by even possibly having a possibility of IBC procuring, gadgets that are using AI. If you don't assess it, Madam Speaker, and you don't have bodies that can be able to look at even the audit functions of those kind of systems, that can be able to ensure there is proper audit trails of those systems, then you can have a seriously bungled election that will also look seriously very okay, seriously very fair. Because if you do not have those bodies put in place, the effectiveness of managing that AI systems can be very complicated. So these are very, very, very serious information and a very serious report that I hope that this House will take seriously, and if possible, read that entire report, support it, analyze it to the extent that can even help us to work on reviewing our data protection laws and ensuring that data is not something that we're just taking in respect of data privacy conversations.
Let him have 1 minute to finish that statement, please.
Yeah, so I was saying that look at it as members of parliament, not just in terms of looking at how data systems and data privacy is becoming a conversation that we all used to, especially because we are looking at training on data privacy matters. But I want us to also look at this report in terms of creating serious path of dealing with all conflict of interests in our data laws, both in terms of acquisition of technology from abroad, but also giving ourselves opportunities to create laws that can allow for creating our own technology that can beat AI, as well as can be able to ensure that we've got condition or preconditions of takeoff with AI development in our country. So this, I not only support this report and second it, but I also really appreciate the fact that this team brought it to this house and engage in that for conversation, and I hope they can engage in more. And next time, take some of us also with you, leader, to kind of go also and gather some knowledge in those platforms. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Eddie Gishero. Okay. Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the Senate notes the report of the proceedings of the Artificial Intelligence AI Conference on the role of Parliament in shaping the future of responsible AI, held from 28th to 30th November 2025 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, laid on the table of Senate on Tuesday, 24th February 2026. And Honorable Senators, it's now time for you to make contributions to this motion. Thank you. Senator Mungatana Danson Buya.
I want to thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to support this motion. Madam Speaker, first of all, I appreciate the comments made by my two former speakers who have taken the floor before me. Madam Speaker, I really am amazed at what is happening in the world, and it is good for this knowledge to come to us. I didn't want to take too long because I'm looking at the time and maybe other members want to debate. But the one thing, Madam Speaker, that stands for us as members of the Senate is that we are supposed to be the defenders of our counties, the mouthpieces for our counties. And Madam Speaker, this is yet another opportunity for us to make sure that even as this technology is hitting Nairobi here, even as this technology is coming to other more established cities and counties, Madam Speaker, we should move this technology to our counties in the entire 47 counties across the country. Madam Speaker, I'm thinking if we are able to adapt this technology at the Senate and be able to process our legislation as fast as it is hoped this AI will do for us, how much better shall it be if, say, the same technology is adapted in the county of Tana River at the assembly level and many other counties? So, Madam Speaker, the real point I raise here as I support this motion is just to say that let us think of a way, as this technology is coming to the Senate, how we shall move this technology down to our county assemblies so that they will be as efficient as the Senate when we start applying this technology. So I would propose that there will be some working committee around, some thinking around this, so that we can be proactive. When this technology lands here and it's being applied, it can equally move to our various county assemblies so that we keep up with the time and deliver on quality. With those few remarks, Madam Speaker, I beg to support. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Danson Mungatana. Senator Abbas Sheikh Mohammed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to also join my colleagues to support the report. Madam Speaker, honestly, I think it's the time that this House or the Parliament must use an AI, and that is a new phenomenon, a development that is making life easy for the human being of today. Honorable Madam Speaker, the use of AI in Parliament makes work easier and work faster and more transparently, that you cannot distort information. Honorable Madam Speaker, it makes life, the reports of the Parliament and the proceeding of Parliament to be easily accessed by the citizens in every part of the world. That anybody can click to Senate proceedings and easy access through AI, and gives actually a real and correct reports on the proceedings of the House. Madam Speaker, you know that this Parliament uses a lot of papers. You see the amount of papers that are being used in writing reports, in writing proceedings, actually is enormous. And I think the more papers you use, we cut more trees to get more papers. But the use of AI will manage at least to minimize the unnecessary papers that we're using in this House to write reports, proceedings, and minutes and all these things. And therefore, AI helps even to conserve the environment so that we don't cut more trees to get papers. Madam Speaker, instead of the public going to libraries to seek what Parliament is actually, the activities of Parliament and the reports of Parliament and the proceeding of Parliament, it makes it for the public easily to access through AI all our proceedings. And therefore, it advantages the public also so they can be able to monitor whatever we are doing in this House. It's also easy to translate the debates for the public. You can use every language that you want to use. The shortest time possible, you'll be able to, at least, even if you want to, maybe I can use Somali. So at least I can be able to access the AI, through AI, to get the report. And therefore, AI in this House will make a lot of changes, especially, again, filing of documents. Could be required to file huge libraries and houses and rooms to file documents in this House or any other place in Parliament. But with the use of AI, I think we will use and it's a click, and you lose less space and less papers and less storage. And what I think is, these reports that we are writing, these proceedings, engage the member of the staff, the secretariat so much. But by use of AI, I think life will be simple for our staff. That they will have shorter time and less workload to be writing so many documents. Speaker. Therefore, it also provides the people with disability who cannot be able to access Parliament, who cannot write all things, can easily access and get information through AI. Madam Speaker, my only worry is AI, I see people misusing it and distorting information. So could it be also disadvantage the procedure of this House? Madam Speaker, with those few remarks, I beg to support.
Thank you, Senator Abbas. Maybe because there was a question on whether the data that has been collected for use in Senate from the senators is safe regarding the new system that has been installed and it's under use right now. Maybe I wish to bring to the attention of senators of communication from the Office of the Clerk that was dispatched on 10th February 2026 under reference SEN DLPS stroke CORR stroke 2026 stroke 02, and it was addressed to all the honorable senators. And let me just highlight three parts of that communication on the lawful basis of the data that is being collected from senators, that the processing is undertaken in accordance with the Data Protection Act 2019 and justified under performance of a public function vested in the Senate or senators' explicit consent where applicable, and on data storage and security, which I believe Senator Eddie Oketch should have been here to hear this, but I see Senator Hezena is here, so she will note and make sure that it's also brought to the attention of Senator Eddie Oketch. All biometric data will be encrypted both at rest and in transmission and stored on secure local servers within the Senate Information Communication Technology, ICT infrastructure. That's important. It's stored within the local servers and accessed only by authorized officers with role-based credentials and audit tracking. And on data retention, information will be retained only for the senator's term for as long as necessary for the above purpose and will then be permanently deleted. And finally, on data sharing, the data will not be shared outside the Senate or with third parties, except one, with an approved technology provider under a binding data processing agreement, or two, when required by law or court order. I hope that serves the assurance that senators have asked in respect of the system for which I have personally given my biometrics just before I entered Senate today, and I believe many of you have also given your biometrics towards that effect. But for the full purport and content of that memo, the clerk can resupply it and even post it again on the Senate business page where senators can read the content of that communication. Thank you. Senator Mvurya. Give him the mic. No, not yet, not yet. He's just intervening on the communication. Okay.
Why are you so...
Don't be very easily agitated in this age of AI. It might catch you on the wrong side of it.
No, Madam Speaker, it's about that communication. I'm not replying yet. I'm here. Madam Speaker, this is a house of record. And being a house of record, then the understanding is that information that is captured of members here today shall be safely stored. 100 years from today, our great-grandchildren may want to know what exactly we said about AI today. So when you say that that information will be destroyed within the life of this parliament, maybe we need to have more engagement on that issue. They will need for more engagement. This it's not about destroying information. It's about safe custody of the data collected today for use many, many years to come. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Mvurya. That's a conversation that can be had at a different level. Then the communication would be done. So I will pen further discussion on that to a different platform. Meantime, I invite Senator Boni Halwale to make his contributions on this motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, maybe just a small comment on the remark by Senator Mvurya. The communication was not about what the Hansard keeps. It is what the Hansard keeps. that your children and mine and grandchildren will want to revisit. She was talking about the biometric data. Once I leave Parliament, what should my biometric data be still doing here? So it is perfectly in order that a decision has been made that it be kept secure, and the moment we depart, it is a rest. That is my understanding. Having said that, I rise to support this motion very strongly. And Senator Wambua, I was listening to you very carefully. And if you look at the population in the House now, it is not because this matter is not important. It is because people are yet to come to terms with AI. In fact, you can see the hard debaters are the ones who are in the House at the moment. And we should have time for this. What are you asking us, Wambua? You are asking us to adopt the resolutions, 1 up to 13, that you made in Kuala Lumpur. Mr. Speaker, it might look easy, but when you
Senator
read...
Boni, I
Yes.
would excuse others, but not you calling me Mr. Speaker. Can you adjust?
Thank you.
Address to me.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I did not even realize that that is a mistake I'd made. It happens from time to time. With all the respect, I cannot mistake you for a woman. You are a full-blooded woman from my point of view, and therefore I respect that. Madam Speaker, the 13 resolutions that have been arrived at in this conference, the fact that we took only 2 members of Parliament, one from the National Assembly and our brother here, Senator Wambua, is further evidence that even Parliament by itself doesn't understand the importance of AI. We needed a number of senators in this delegation and a number of members of the National Assembly. In fact, please inform me if the Speaker allows me.
Proceed and inform him he's accepted.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Senator Boni Alwale, through the Speaker. What you're saying is spot on. I want to inform you that at the conference, the leading delegation was from India, the Indian Parliament. And it was almost an entire parliament, different levels of parliamentarians engaging and even trying to take the lead in developing a symposium for the Global South on the use of AI. So you are spot on. We looked very, very disinterested in what is happening in the world. I thank you.
I appreciate that information. And it was just out of quick reading of what is AI. When AI came to my attention, I took it negatively. One, that here is a tool which is going to take away jobs. And as a defender of the youth and a father of some, I am very protective when it comes to job opportunities. So I took it negatively that this thing we don't want is going to take away jobs for our children. The second thing that was negative, Madam Speaker, was that I said, this thing is going to be abused. I remember, Madam Speaker, a case in point where, by coincidence, the 2 senators who are currently greeting each other, last year, they innocently greeted each other like that, and a still photo was taken. But because of AI, those 2 senators, the photograph was now transformed into a video where they were hugging, and I don't know whether they almost kissed, but that I said, wait a minute, This is going to break families because a protective spouse will not have the patience to say, this could be AI and this could be real. So those two reasons guided me when I started taking AI seriously. But now that I have taken trouble in the last 6 to 8 months to acquaint myself with AI, I have realized that AI actually is not a new thing. AI was discovered by a computer scientist who was a cognitive scientist by the name of John McCarthy, an American, born 1927, died in 2011. He died many years ago, and yet AI had not captured the imagination of the world. So it has waited many years after his death, posthumous. It is now when it is capturing the imagination of the world. So I followed it and I said, this AI, what is this thing AI? And listening to the
just a minute, Senator Karen Nyamu, you know you cannot do your phone calls inside chamber. Risking being declared to be out of order. Proceed, Senator Boni.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm sure the chair did not hear the distinguished senator from Vihiga. Senator Osoti, my kid brother. Karen is not AI generated. She's my good friend. She's not AI generated. So, Madam Speaker, as I pay this tribute to this scientist, who was a computer scientist, and of course in his own right, a cognitive scientist, I listened to the senator of Migori when seconding, and you know what he tells the House? That AI is all about data and blah, 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 those things he said. So here is a youth who is a member of this House. He's yet to grasp what is AI. He thinks it's just about data. No. AI, the essence is that AI is an innovation where computers and machines can simulate humanity, can simulate human learning. Just think about that. A computer sits there and can simulate Senator Osothi's capacity to learn and flow with him. It can, Madam Speaker, simulate human comprehension. Comprehension. Imagine the distinguished senator of Tana River. He has the capacity based on his own intelligence quotient that enables him to comprehend things. Now here comes a computer or a machine that then simulates the senator. What's more, it can simulate problem solving and decision making. It can even simulate my creativity in areas where I think I'm creative. It can simulate me at par. And what's more scaring is that AI can simulate human autonomy. By our very nature, the senator of Kisii, Senator Onyonga, is autonomous. And I cannot simulate him, but AI can. So we are walking into a space, I was saying these things just to make this point. We are walking into a space, Senator Mvurya, over and above your resolutions. We should form a special committee, a joint parliamentary committee, to now think around AI. I see that we will need a computer scientist, and there are many now from the university, up to and including my son, who is also a computer scientist. He's a youth. He would be glad if you gave him a job. Yeah. Each committee would need a computer scientist. You know what they say at the School of Humanity at Harvard? They teach these days that human beings who work with AI work better than human beings who do not work with AI. So that being the case, every committee should have a computer scientist who will be able to support the committee with AI. As we support your resolutions also, we need that special committee to now factor into the budget of parliamentary, is it parliamentary commission? The one that, yeah, Parliamentary Service Commission, to have a budget for AI for Parliament. And what's more, this committee should also inform the executive that the executive should now have a budget for AI for every ministry, for every government department and every agency if we want to move at the pace that you can see India and China moving. Madam Speaker, I say these things with a lot of respect because I know that in 1980, when just about everybody apart from Hazina maybe was alive, who is in this room now, 80% of the population in China was poor. 80%. Today, the poverty rate in China is 0. So it means, therefore, Madam Speaker, that if leaders can be able to think around issues and make resolutions the way Wambua and his team has done, we can move our country from the misery we see today, where leadership, Madam Speaker, means to some people that you have an opportunity to become rich and live large. That's what leadership means to African leaders. Leadership, to my mind, means you wrap it into the populace so that the country collectively moves together and becomes better. Madam Speaker, there are certain aspects which AI cannot do. For example, AI cannot replace the nurse at Gertrude Hospital. Impossible. Whatever AI does, it can choose anything, but they can't, because the decisions made by the nurse when you arrive with your child is based on emotional awareness beyond the training the nurse has received. Madam Speaker, AI cannot replace the nursery school teacher. The nursery school teacher can be able to look in the eyes of the child, probably 4 years old, 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old, and be able to know that that shift in the eyes of the child means that the child has peed on itself or it is going through some form of discomfort. AI cannot manage that. What is more, we have certain trades, mainly in the field of engineering, which AI cannot simulate. AI cannot simulate me, with just 2 minutes. AI cannot simulate a surgeon.
Senator Boni, you have half a minute to just finish that sentence so we hear the thinking of
I just wanted to
leaders.
acknowledge that AI cannot simulate a surgeon, because a surgeon, when you open the patient, you go in, you start making decisions once the patient is bleeding to death. The moment you open a patient, you are starting to kill that patient. So you make decisions meant for you to solve the problem and come out with the disease out and the patient still alive. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I overwhelmingly support this report.
Thank you, Senator Boni, for those thoughts and contribution. You truly do have, your submissions have a good sync with the AI and the capacity of AI to simulate Senator Onyonka and its ability to become a Sunday school teacher or a nurse or nursery school teacher. Senator Lemaltian Hezena can bring the women leaders' perspective to the subject of AI.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I heard Bonnie calling, Senator Bonnie Halwale calling you Mr. Speaker. Finally, it is good to note that he can potentially see both genders being equally fit to be equal leaders. Madam Speaker, it is indeed true that the possibilities of AI are limitless. We have had very serious questions as far as data is concerned. The use of our data, the extraction of our data. We had a company the other day getting several thousands of Kenyans queuing to collect some data related to their eyeballs, and that was such a huge risk to our country. But Madam Speaker, we also understand that AI has so much potential to help the youth of our country. The missing link, however, is the fact that we have, the whole world is talking about the exponential potential that AI has. But nobody is really realizing that many parts of our country are still lagging behind. We are not connected, there is no electricity, there is no internet, but the world has advanced too fast in the cities and the capital, the major capitals, leaving behind the rest of the world, especially in many parts of Africa. Madam Speaker, it is important that all ministries within our country work together in a collaborative effort to ensure that different aspects of different ministries come together to ensure that there is an interlinkage in ensuring that there is a smooth and efficient transition from one sector to the other and to be able to catch up with the rest of the world. Madam Speaker, there is also the issue of there are very many advancements that have happened globally as far as AI is concerned. We have also seen the creative economy growing because of AI. Many young people are employed through AI. I have been sent about 3 songs this week, and my attempts to look for the singer behind the music failed because I was told they were generated using AI, but the voice was so realistic that I thought it was a human being. I can imagine even people who had zero talent in music, perhaps like me, would be able to sit behind a keyboard and come up with put words together and ask AI to do the needful. We have also seen issues like the marketing industry has expanded hugely because of AI. There is a way our creative, the creative industry is incorporating AI skills in marketing, in banking, and every other thing, Madam Speaker. We have seen the growth in the movie industry because of AI. However, there are downfalls to every good thing has a bad side. And we are seeing also exploitation through the AI, and it has actually fueled cyberbullying, whereby we have fake videos created to sell a certain narrative. We have words being put into people's mouth. You will see a video of Madam Speaker addressing the people of Moranga, saying a completely opposite thing than what she meant. Very soon we will see somebody resigning, even maybe from the presidency, using AI, and that is such a huge risk to this country, Madam Speaker. However, and this would call for regulation in the sector. It's very interesting that I have seen the report has called on the on the various parliaments and organizations and associations like the CPA to work collaboratively to ensure that there is a deliberate effort between these institutions and especially the leadership of Parliament to ensure that mechanisms and systems are put in place to streamline the use and operation of AI. Madam Speaker, it's unfortunate to learn that there was a conference happening in Malaysia which bore this report, and none of us from the ICT committee had the privilege to attend, and neither did we also have information that this was happening. Madam Speaker, that must be put into serious consideration. I also sit in the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, and I can see from the list of the members who attended, none of them is a member of the CPA. I think this is why the report was categorically insisting that the leadership of Parliament needs to do more as far as streamlining and inclusion and mainstreaming of the AI is concerned. Madam Speaker, last but not least, I wish the Ministry of ICT can be proactive enough to ensure that we have enough coverage, network coverage, internet coverage, even using the fiber and broadband across the whole country. You can imagine now when we have those fake clips generated through AI spreading and circulating, Madam Speaker. Sometimes they'll be even talking about a certain outbreak, and these people can no longer distinguish between what is real and what is fake. Somebody in Samburu...
Senator Lelmatian will have a balance of 8 minutes when the motion is next listed in the order paper for further submissions. Honorable Senators, it's now 1 p.m., time to adjourn the Senate. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until later today, Wednesday, 25th March 2026 at 2:30 p.m. Thank you.